So guys, today we are going to discuss the topic that is destructor, and I'm also going to discuss how do you pass objects into a function outside the class, and then you call it inside your main function. So to save some time, I have already made this program where I have three states of this object, and I have used a pointer called name, and then what I do is uh, I create a constructor of student, and then I so first I equal roll number to R, which is my first parameter. Then GPA equals to G, there's a second parameter, and for the string, for the pointer variable, for the string, for the char string, so what I do is first I find the length, then I create the number of memory locations I need to store the number of characters in the area I'm going to pass, and then I copy it inside the name, and like this. So previously this program had a cout statements inside every constructor. So means here, right here, this program had a cout statement, and respectively I have created a copy constructor where I have performed a deep copy. So what deep copy means is that so when we dynamically allocate memory, for that purpose we use deep copy. So this was the previous program, but now what we want to do is I want to introduce a new idea that is called destructors. So this right here, these are the constructors. So they set up the values, they construct your the states of the objects. But what destructor means, the destructors, they destroy the values, means they return the memory. So after the program is terminated, the values or you allocated dynamically during the program. So what the destructor do, it deallocates those memories and return the memory back to the operating system. So that way the memory space is saved, and then you have a lot of free memory for other programs. So you can run the operating system can use those memory locations to run other programs as well. So when you don't create a constructor, the compiler does it for you. It means that it's there's a default constructor which deletes or which deallocates or which destroys the memory, the dynamic allocated memory which you allocated. But here what I want to do is I want to create my own destructor in the class. So what I do is so the difference between a constructor and destructor is you introduce a tilde sign, so that marks the start of a constructor, and the name will be the same, the student, and so here the some of the properties of the destructor is that it's always public, it's not private, and the parameter list is empty, means it doesn't take any sort of parameter. The third one is that there can be only one destructor inside a class, so you cannot include two or three the destructors. You cannot include two or three destructors. There has to be only one one destructor inside the class. It has no return type, and what it's used for the deallocation or for the destruction of the memory of the array, you can say, of the memory, and it returns back the memory which you took which you dynamically allocated during the program. So what I do is so inside this constructor I include an if statement. So I'll say if name. So if name means that if the name string is not empty, means if it has some sort of value, then I want this if statement to be executed. And what I do is if name, then I delete, then I delete um, the name. So what this delete reserve word will do, it will delete the memory which this array hold, so which this array held, the memory which this array held. This delete reserve word is going to delete that memory and is going to return the memory back to the operating system. And now for me, so how would I know that this destructor is being called after the program is terminated? So the way I'm going to know this is I'm going to see out, or I'm going to output. Let's say a funny output. I am a god of destruction. Let's see. So here this is the output, and when this statement is going to be displayed, I'll know that this destructor was called and it is working indeed. So let's see. Alright, so here also what I want to do, so I want to do two things today in this program. So first I introduce the idea of our destructor, then what I want to do is I want to create a function in which I'm going to call this object, that is S1, and then also I'm going to call the second object, which is S2, and S2 is has the same states as S1, means S2 equals S1, and for this we created a deep copy, so you perform a deep copy right here, which equals all the states of S1, which equals the state of S1 and S2. So now what we are going to do is we are going to create a function outside this class. Let's say void, and let's say that this is display, and then the parameter is going to be the object. So student, let's say student Z. So student Z is my formal parameter, and what I'll do here is I'll see out. So this function, so when I'll pass a parameter inside, so when I'll call this function, I'll pass the S1 student 1 as the parameter, and then it's going to display the values of each individual state of the object. So see out. So also to refer it to the object, I'll have to use the z dot. So this z right here is the formal parameter, and this means that this z will actually be S1 when I'll call the function and pass the actual parameter as the S1. So that this z right here will refer to the parameter. So right here, this z is the parameter right here. So z dot roll number. Then I'll say /n. Then z dot GPA /n, and then z dot name, and so, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to call this function, and I'm going to include two. Actually, I'm going to include call this function two times, one for the S1 and one for S2. So one for S1 and one for S2. Also, one more thing, that whenever you create a block, so right here, let's say this is my block, the scope of the object, or the scope of the class right now is inside this block. So the scope of all these objects is inside this block, and once the flow of control exits, means exits this block, the destructor is going to be called. So here for me to know when the destructor is it working, means that is the destructor being called after the flow of control is transferred outside this block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write here destructor, means that the job is done. They're done destructing, or they're done, it's done, the compiler is done returning back the memory to the operating system. So right here, this is it, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this program, and let's see if it works. Okay. Oh, alright. So here, this slash is this one. So this is this slash. So I actually put the wrong symbol. It is actually this symbol. And what is it giving me? Alright, this one, and this one. Alright, let's run this program. Let's see. Okay, so as you can see, the so first, so here in this function, in this display function, I pass this parameter, that is z, and that is a copy, that is by copy, means that is a value parameter, so that is passed by copy. So you know what copy means? So this z is going to be equal to s1. So this z means this z is another object. So the number of times a destructor is going to be called depends upon the number of objects as well. So here actually I have created two objects, but in reality this parameter, this z parameter is by copy. So this is going to create four objects instead. So one is for s1, and then so first object is s1 here as I created. Then it's going to copy this s1 into z, so this is 2, and then it's going to display all the values. Then the second object is s2, and then it's going to copy s2 here, then it's going to display all the values. So in reality actually four objects are being created, but the trick here is that when this z, this parameter right here, whenever when this function is done displaying all the values right here, it is destructed at once. So you know, here as you can see, I have called this function, that is display s1. It showed me, it displayed all the values, and then this student z, this z object right here was destructed at once. So that is why it is giving me the output I am god of destruction here. Then the flow of control shifted to s2, and so the destructor function is called after this block. So after it is done executing this block, then the destructor function is called. So but but right here in case of z, this destructor function is called early on. I don't know the reason, but I will confirm it. But in case of this z, it calls it early. So for then the control is going to shift to s2. Then for s2, it's going to display the values, and then it's going to destroy this z as well, because you know now it copied s2 inside it. So right here it showed me the values, and then it showed the output, then it destroyed the value of name inside this object, that is z. Then it destroyed the object, that is s1, then it showed me the value of the output I am god of destruction again, and then it destroyed the value, it destroyed s2, and I am the god of destruction again. And then when all of this was done, you know, means all of the objects were done, were done destructing, then it showed me the output, that is destructed. So right here, as you can, if I pass this parameter by reference, means not by copy, so that means only two objects are going to be created. And if I run the program, as you can see here, let me just, so it outputs, and then what I want to do is I want to endl. So here I'll create another endl. So that will code, you can read it, clearly. Now as you can see, only the destructor function is being called two times, because this parameter right here, z, is being passed by reference, not by copy. So it means it's just referring to the addresses of the objects of the respective objects. So first this function is done displaying, then this function is displayed, and then when both the objects are displayed, the destructor function is first called for s1, then it shows me the output for s1, then for s2, and then it shows me it's done destructing. And this destructor function, as I stated, is called whenever the flow of control exits this bracket right here. So this right here is the scope of these objects right here. So that was it for the destructors, and for how you call an object, how you call a function which has a parameter that is an object, and by reference or by copy. So this was it. I hope it helped, and I'll see you guys in the next video.